What up? Okay, okay. Where's everybody at? Where's everybody at? There's one. I bet you guys didn't think I was going to do it today, huh? Just waiting for some people to show up. Having my morning coffee. I know, it's late. What time is it? Afternoon? 12:18, and I'm having morning coffee. It's my second cup. I was up late last night trying to finish the Friday news. There's a lot of it this week. And of course, I had to ramble a little bit on there about some things, my thoughts about things. So I think it ended up being like I cut it down as much as I could. I think I could, like 33 minutes, I think. So I suppose if I can keep it down to a half hour ish, we're okay. My analytics are showing me that on the news anyway, that the average view time is really up quite a bit. So that shows me that people are watching almost all of the news before they walk away. And that's good because the more people that watch and the longer you watch translates to two things on YouTube. One, dollars and cents. You don't make a lot of money by having a lot of subscribers. You make a little bit of money by view time and how fast do you get them views. Like if you ever look at any of my videos, you'll see where it says, I don't know, 2,000 views or 5,000 views or whatever. And the truth is, that it's okay, but it's not great. And that's what I go by. So when I put out a video and it's been out for say a week and it only gets like 1,500 views, the odds are I'm not going to do that stuff anymore. That's not enough. That's a lot of work for a little bit of nothing. 1,500 views, and let's assume that they watch the whole thing, which most of them don't. That will equate to something like about $4.50. That's what it equates to before they take their 30%. That's a lot of work, man, for that. That's why I keep saying I can't do that in some cases. But the news seems like it's doing okay. I'd like to see it build. I'd like to see more people come to it, more people watch. And the W&L shows, that's another one that's kind of sitting on the end of the cliff, really. Not too many people ever come to the show, and I don't know why. If you don't come to the show live, I mean, if you're working or whatever, that's fine. I understand that. But, I've got like 11,000 subscribers, I think, something like that. And on an average, there's only 120 people or so that come to the live show. That's a big separation there. So I'm just always curious is why don't you come to the live show? What's the deal with that? I mean, we go out of our way. We work very hard to get a guest that I think you all would be interested in. Like we have the Medicare expert. I would have thought everybody was going to have questions about Medicare, right? And insurance and how it works down here and things. But the last show he was on, really, we didn't really get that big a response, I don't think. But I understand that his Wi-Fi is a little, but we're working on it. He's already confirmed, by the way, those of you that may have Medicare questions or Florida insurance questions, that Craig is going to be on the October W&L show. And that's the time to bring those questions. Don't ask me now. I'm not going to forward them to him. Come to the live show. That's why we have the live show. Hey, KM, how you doing? I see you up there. I'm sorry, I'm not watching. People on here? John says, how are you? I'm fine. Man, that guy's got a nice looking bike. Hot, like it is everywhere, I suppose. Hell, but I've been watching the news the last couple of days. I'm getting to think that Florida's the cool spot in America. Good Lord. It just seems like Forest fires and wildfires and heat waves are everywhere up north. Hey, Marcia, thanks for coming. Looks like you're the only moderator so far. Vic Madeira says, "Hi, Skip. We are finally here. New full-time village residents." Well, great, Vic. Um, I imagine right now you're kind of busy when you buy. That's usually when the work really starts. Two things happen when you come to the villages as far as buying, and these people will confirm what I'm telling you, is first of all, finding a house. Because the more you shop, probably the more confused you're going to get. It's like buying a car. You're going to see so many homes, so many floor plans, so many different ways of this and of that. I mean, from a shower in a master bedroom, let's say, with sliding doors, or a shower, what we called Roman showers up north, where you can just walk in. That's what I have, because you just walk in. You're just going to get so confused about all the prices, all the stuff, and then what is the house close to? Is it close to what you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to do? Is it close to a square? Is it close to shopping? Is it close to a recreation center? Is it close to a pool? I mean, you got to get all this stuff fit in. Oh man, buy a house with a golf cart garage, without a golf cart garage. it's just confusing. But once you decide and buy that house, now that part's done. You sign the papers. It's your baby now. That's it. Now you got to go through all the warranty stuff to make sure everything's okay. The walkthroughs, the inspections, to make sure everything's okay. Okay. Once all that's done, you have to move in. Now you need furniture, unless you've got it already. But then you got to do the shopping and get everything ready. And then I don't know if you got your house up north sold or not. Most people sell that first and then come down. Sue and I actually we were the opposite, kinda. We bought a home, a vacation home villa. We bought a small villa, and we used that. And when I had a chance to sell my house in Indianapolis, I did. We came down and we moved into the villa. I sold everything, donated everything, and gave everything away up in Indianapolis. I didn't bring anything down here that wasn't vitally important. Obviously, like family heirlooms, things like that. And we came down here and started over. And then we sold that house because I needed a bigger house, and bought this house once again. That furniture over there, temporarily, we had the movers bring it from there to here. And I used Tri-County Moving and Storage, I think it's called. I don't even know if they're still in business or not. But Jimmy was the owner of the place, and he's a great kid. These guys did a great job. I have no complaints with them whatsoever. The price was more than fair. They packed everything up. I lived up by Lake Sumter, if you guys know where that is, and moved down here to Brownwood. So you see the distance there. Not a lot of distance, but they packed everything up in the house on the trailer. I drove the golf cart down here, so he didn't have to pack that up. There's a thing about golf carts. If it's a gas golf cart, legally in the state of Florida, they're not allowed to haul them in the back of a van or a moving trailer unless they siphon all the gas out. It's a fire thing, hazardous material thing. But I drove the golf cart down here. It wasn't a big deal. And they come down here. After we closed, they met us in the driveway. You guys know that story. Sue just basically said, put this over there. She just pointed, put that over there, put this over here, put this over here. They put everything in the house where we wanted it. Total price back then, and that's been, this October will be 8 years. Total price for this, them to do this, was just a hair over $400. Maybe it's just me. I'm not in the furniture business, but I just thought that was the deal and a half. By the way, I'm going to keep this one short. The last one, after I got done, I got to look and I thought, oh my God, I was out there for 4 hours flipping my lip. I'm not doing that anymore. Not that I don't enjoy it. I can sit out here. You can ask Sue. I can sit out here all day and just talk to you guys because that's just the kind of guy I am. I like talking. Matter of fact, if you saw the the golf cart ride where we took the golf cart down to Brownwood to get the new belt, the clutch belt put on, and then me and Sue went and had lunch and walked back. And I get a lot of static sometimes about the music I put in there. It's about a 50-50 thing. Some people like it, some people don't. The reason why I put that music in there a lot, especially on those, you've seen me drive to Brownwood 101 times. I don't have nothing else to say. One guy even sent me an email saying, no offense, he said, but I don't like the music in the videos. He said, I'd rather listen to you and Sue chit chat. Hey, Vic, appreciate it, buddy. Bring that super chat tonight during the WNL show. I'm sorry, man. I'm just joking. Look here. See him over there? That's the yard guy over there. He's probably going to stop and spray. There's nobody over there. He lives in Canada. But they come to my yard yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? They all do it about the same time. I don't know the timing on all this, but at certain times of year they'll fertilize. At certain times of the year they'll spray your yard for insects. And at certain times of the year they'll come around and they, what do you call it when they plug it? They plug your whole yard. And then they come around and they fertilize it again. And so, they have certain things to do it. I got so confused about what to do with the grass down here. We finally just signed a contract with the company and they just do it. I mean, really, if you're going to travel, that's really the best thing to do for you. You're tired of looking at that, ain't you? That's probably the best thing to do for you, because if you're going to travel like we like to travel, of course, this is before COVID hit and all this and that. Now we got monkeypox. Isn't that great? Things I've never heard of my whole life. COVID and then monkeypox. Must be a different animal, because when I was a kid, I had chickenpox. God, what's happening to our country anymore? We're turning into the worldwide shithole. I swear to God we are. So anyway, I catch myself. I got to stop rambling. But thanks for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. I'm outside. Oh, by the way, the question was about the iPad. Last time I was going to do this, remember I had to do it from the inside because this was deader than a popcorn fart and I couldn't get it to work and I thought it was bad. Come to find out, a couple of you had sent me a message saying that it was probably the cord. I didn't believe it was a cord at first because you had to see this cord. This cord was built super tough. It was a great cord. It had a metal band that went around the cord, flexible. The ends were crimped in such a way that I would never think that the bending of that cord would ever break a wire. I mean, it was a really nice cord. Whoever bought this cord, because I bought this iPad used, by the way. I bought it when I got my Phantom 4 drone. This iPad goes for that Phantom 4 drone, and this cord was all for that Phantom 4 drone. And I don't fly it hardly at all anymore. So I just thought I'd try it out here, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So anyway, I ordered cords, charging cords, I guess you call them, for this darn thing, from a company, and they sent me 2 of them. I know you're not going to believe this. They sent me 2 of them, and in the box was a little post-it note on one of them. The first one I happened to open it up. If I hadn't opened it up, this one, I don't know if I'd even seen it. There was a note saying, "Love your YouTube channel. Here's an extra one on me." That's all I know. I don't know who it was, but whoever you are, if you're watching, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So anyway, I plugged it in, and it charged right back up again. So it had to be that cord, and I just threw the other one away. Because whoever sent that in about the cord, thank you, because that's what it was. Vic says, can't wait to meet Craig next month. You must have an appointment with him, because he's not going to be on my show till October. I think October, he likes October. I think October is the month where everybody can change their Medicare from one plan to another or whatever. I've never done that, so I'm not familiar with exactly how that works. But I do know at work, when I worked for UPS, I think it was around October also, we would get this package. And in there was all this information, and I could change things. I could change my insurance, I could change stuff. So must be a Must be just in the system. That's how they all do things. So I look like I'm frowning all the time, don't I? Well, I look like I'm mad. I'm not mad. I don't know why do I do that? I don't know. But anyway, um, he likes October because that's when people start changing things. And so I called him. Did I call him or he called me? I think I called him the other day. He was busy, did not answer his phone. That's how it was. He called me back later, and I just wanted to say I'm working on October. I just want to confirm that you're in for the October show. If not, let me know. And he said, "Oh no," he said, "I'm in." So he loves coming on WNL. I think our show does a lot for his business, and I'm glad for that. I really am. The guest tonight on a WNL, let me get this out of the way before I forget, is going to be an insurance agent for Farm Bureau out of Gainesville, Florida. And I had a systems check with him a few days ago, and I told him from the very beginning, I said, now, when you come on the show, I just want you to be prepared. I said, I might get a little rough with you. I'm just warning you. Sometimes I'm not being rough, but I know with my voice and the way I act sometimes, people take it as being mean and rough. I said, but I'm gonna question you pretty hard on this replacing the roof thing after 10 years. And I said, I want you to be prepared for that, because I said, I've got a lot of people that sent me emails that's highly interested in what's going on there. And he said, okay, so I'd be glad to talk about it. So that's going to be my number one thing, is going to be that. And if any of you have any insurance questions about coming to Florida, then come to the show, please. Because that's the time to ask them questions in the chat during the show. Don't ask me these questions after the show. Don't ask me these questions before the show. I want you to start coming to the show. And because I want to get the attendance up and ask these questions in the chat. Now, with that being said, I don't want to guarantee that we're going to get everybody's question, because sometimes we have a lot and we only have so much time with this guy, and then we got to go because we have other things we do on the show. Judy's going to give us a report on what's going on down at the Finney area, what's built, what's being built, what's done, what's open, things like that. And then, of course, we'll have Sue on. I don't know what she's going to talk about. I never do. She might talk about stuff that's happening in Brownwood. I don't know. And just things, we do the best we can do. And then, of course, we have the game. I do have a game. We're going to have an Amazon card, again, because they're easy to mail out, and then you can get what you want. It's in there. And we'll do some general talking, and I've got a few other pictures of my own I'm going to plop up there for everybody and do a little bit of kidding around and have some fun. And so I want you to come to the show. And and don't forget those super chats and super stickers, because that's the money I use that will buy the prize for next month's show. Most of you already know this, but I just keep repeating myself because there's always new people showing up, and they don't know anything about this. So don't forget them super chats and super stickers. It's vitally important for the WNL show to have them. Oh, and the other thing was, I'm not going to talk about it that much. I got a letter the other day from Jenna down at the Kids Wish Foundation thing down there. Apparently she saw something I did on one of the shows. I'm not sure what she saw, really. Said she wanted to thank everybody, wanted me to thank everybody for the participation last year. And she sent me a letter of one of the girls. One of the girls they helped out. Shake and Bake says, hey, from Northeast. Last time I talked to you guys up in Northeast, you were having a heat wave like everybody else. Today, I'm not sure what the temperature is today. I'm sitting outside. It's warm, but it's not, it just don't feel as hot as it has been. Of course, it's cloudy out too. I don't know if I can show you that or not. Can you see the clouds? The rain clouds are starting to float in a little bit. And when they do float in, it'll come from the Tampa area. And that's where we'll get the biggest rain clouds is there in the storm. Last night, it rained pretty good. Or yesterday, I mean. Yesterday afternoon. Yeah. Trying to get this thing straight. I always feel like I'm crooked. Probably because the camera's over here on this side and I'm looking over here because that's where the picture is. I need to look here. Jerry Bell, guarantee you 100%. I'll bet you a $20 super chat WrestleMania will be there. Gator says he bought a house last month at Sable Chase, and he'll be part-time in it until he retires June of 23. That's okay. I did that. I had a part-time home for several years. I want to say 5 years. I don't remember what year it was I bought that. You guys know more, but you guys are better at this than I am. When it comes to dates and names, I'm not real good at it. I'm not a real good reader either. Sometimes I've thought about not doing the news because I watch it too. I'm not a very good reader. I mean, I can read, don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid, but I'm just not an affluent reader. But I do it because it seems like you guys like hearing the news and whatever, and so I do it the best that I can. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not satisfied with it at all, but I do it. But I had that part-time villa for, my gosh, I rented it out in the winter. I only rented it out for basically 3 months. Oh, actually 4. But that fourth guy that I rented it to is because I liked the guy a lot. I rented it out January, February, and March, and that was it. I didn't want to rent it out any more than that. That was enough money. It covered me all year long on expenses. And it didn't wear the furniture and stuff out. If you rented it out a lot, the furniture gets wore out. They're walking in and out of your house all the time. The carpet gets wore out if you have carpet. Things get broke. It's just going to happen, you know. Try to buy unbreakable plates, unbreakable coffee cups, because they're going to break them. And just little things like that. Well, in October, we rented a house out one time to a guy, only because I wasn't coming down. I knew I wasn't coming down. And I got this random email. No, I'm sorry. I got a random phone call. I almost didn't answer it because it had this long number on it, and I couldn't figure out. I said, what the heck is that? So I answered it just for the heck of it, to see what it was. And it was this guy's name was Peter, but everybody called him Petey. He was from Manchester, England. And he said he saw my house was for rent, and he wanted to know if I'd be interested in renting it out to him for the month of October. He said, because I always come to Florida in October. He's never been to the Villages. Wanted to know if he could rent my house for the month, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, well, you know, I'm not going down there until after Thanksgiving. I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And he said, how much? I had no idea. I had never planned on renting it in October, so I've never had a October rate, so to speak. So I just rattled off a figure. And he said, that'd be good. And I told him about the deposit and the cleaning fee. I said, I want to be up front with you. And I got a home watch guy, so as soon as you leave, my home watch guy will go over there. He'll inspect the house to make sure everything's okay. I said, once he emails me or calls me and tells me everything's okay, at that point, your deposit is gone. It sends back to you. I don't keep any of that. And I just wanted him to rest assured that, you know, I'm not one of them guys that looks for an excuse to steal your deposit. I'm not. And he said he appreciated that. Well, he came down. He stayed there for the month of October. At the end of October, right before the end of October, my home watch guy, and I had one of the best home watch people in the world, I swear I did. He called me up and he said, hey, he said, I'm here at your house talking to Peter, and he wants to know if you will just keep that deposit. He would like to rent this again next year in October. I said, well, I guess I can. I hadn't really even thought about it. I said, I guess I can. I said, yeah, okay. I said, I'll do that. Let him know, though, that if something should happen, like I die, or if for some reason we sell the house, then I'm going to return that deposit to him, period. And he said he understood that. He said that was fine. So every year after that, because I kind of fell into it, in October, Petey flew over here from England to stay at my house. And he was a great guy. I got to meet him one time, and he was just a great guy. I had nothing bad to say about it, but I never ever intended to rent my house out more than 3 months a year. But Petey was the exception. But the next time you come down, Gator, if you got time, because I know you're going to be busy, probably, who knows what you're going to be doing to the house. Everything from painting to remodeling, who knows. Give me and Sue a call or whatever. Maybe we'll meet you somewhere for some lunch and a beer or whatever. Somebody said in an email I got during the week, so how come you never go to the squares and video them? Well, I do go down there once in a while, and I do video short things. I don't stand at the square and video dancing and the music and all that because of monetization. All that music those guys play down there is copyrighted music, and I don't have the permission to play that music. They will copyright my video, and I just don't like doing that. Now, I will say this, that my Patreon members get music that sometimes you guys never get because of copyright issues. On Patreon, I can put a video on there with specific music that I don't get copyrighted. And I don't have to worry about it on Patreon because I don't monetize any video on Patreon. Everything on there is commercial free. That's how you know it's being monetized. It's commercial free on Patreon. Those people pay a couple bucks a month, to support my channel. And so I give them a lot of stuff on there commercial free. And they also get things on there that you guys never see. And some of it is different music. They have music maybe to the same video, but it'll be different music because that music is monetized, but I can get by with it on Patreon, at least for now anyway, that I can't get by with that on YouTube. So just a heads up on some of that. But congratulations to you too, Vic, for being full-time. Now the work begins. Also, to catch a lot of you guys up, I don't really pay attention to a lot of the comments on videos that I do of other people's homes because it's their home. And if you have questions about their home, then I pretty much let them try to handle those questions because they know more about it than I do. I can only answer the things that I've seen or whatever, and that's it. Last time I talked to Carol, the Sassafras home, which was a few days ago, and she told me that she called, I don't know who she called the warranty department, called the contractor, she called somebody, and she gave them a list of those things. And the last that I heard, I think she told me 9 out of those 10 things has been fixed already. I will say, I'll give villages credit where credit's due, that their warranty department and their customer service department are usually very, very good. Customer service, what is that? Let's say you got a fairly new house that's under warranty still, and you got a window that doesn't shut right. There's something wrong with the window. You call customer service. Customer service is going to look your house up on the computer, and they're going to give you the phone number and the contractor's name that installed your window. and then you're going to call that guy and say, hey, my window's not right, and he's going to come right out and fix it, because they have a deal with the village's company that I believe if once you make a complaint about something that's still under warranty, they have 72 hours to get in contact with you. And most of the people that I've ever called about anything that was bad here called us generally within the first 2 hours. I mean, it was amazing. And they came right out and took care of it. Richard Wesner, how you doing, bud? John and Jane, just met with the Relax Home Watch. Thanks for having it on WNL. Hey, that's no problem. I had another guy that I was using as a contact for down there. I met the guy. I talked to the guy. Super nice guy. Matter of fact, I was impressed at how fast he caught me. Here's what happened. People I know bought a patio villa down there, and they told me if I wanted to go down there and do a video of the house, why nobody, because they was going to rent it out. He said, you want to go do a video of the house before I rent it out? He said, go on down there and do that. I said, I do. I like doing videos of homes to show you guys the different floor plans of what they look like. And he said, well, here, I'm going to give you the combination. I believe it was to the garage door. He said, the door into the kitchen from the garage is open. I think it was the garage door. And he said, well, you can go in and do all this video. I said, okay. So I went down there by myself, I think, or was Sue with me? Generally, Sue goes with me. She might have been there. So anyway, we go in, and I'm doing some video and whatever. Next thing I know, I wasn't there very long. Next thing I know, there's a guy coming in, and he's wanting to know who I am. In a nice way. In a nice way. Him and some other guy. I think it was his son. I'm not sure. So we just seen you was here. Just like, no, what are you doing? And so I'm here doing a video, and I give the name of the homeowners. That was the thing right there. As soon as I told him the name of the homeowners, he knew I had to be there legitly, or otherwise I wouldn't know the name of the homeowners, right? He said, oh, okay. He said, well, he didn't contact me. I said, well, you need to jump his ass. I said, if he ain't letting you know who he's got coming in and out of this house, you need to tell him that you need to know these things, or otherwise, you know, you could be all over the place. So we just laughed. Anyway, he was a retired state police officer from I don't know what state. And he was doing his home watch service down there to have something to do and to make a few extra bucks. And he gave me his card. I talked with him. He was legit. He was good. I think he was also a military guy. He was just an easygoing guy, and he was honest as the day was long. So I told him, I said, if you want me to, I'll put you on a WNL show. He didn't really want to do that. I don't know why. A lot of people are really funny about the camera. I don't get it, but anyway. So he called me up one time. He said, what do you charge for me to advertise on one of your videos or on WNL or whatever? Once again, I'd really never thought about it. So I just rattled off a figure. I said, I don't know. If you want me to put your information on one video or on a WNL or something like that, I'll make up a little commercial of some kind, and I'll put your phone number and your name and all that stuff on there for $50. And I'll use that money to buy gifts and prizes. This goes way back when we first started doing this. And he said, that sounds fair. So he sent me $50. He put it in my PayPal account, I think. No, he may have sent me a check. He may have sent me a check because he lives here in the Villages. Anyway, so I did that. And I used him for a long time. And then one day he sent me an email. He said, Moise, I really appreciate your channel. He said, I've gotten well over 100 new customers. He said, I can't take any more. So he said, please don't recommend me anymore. I said, okay. So when I did a video once, I even said, don't contact this guy anymore. He's already told me he's got all the people he can handle, and he doesn't want any more. So just don't contact him anymore. I said, if he needs any more people, I'm sure he'll get a hold of me, and I'll let you guys know that he's going to take on some more. But in the meantime, he ain't taking any more. And it was ironic that it wasn't very long after that he sent me an email saying that, how do I put this? Saying that he's been diagnosed with a terminal cancer, and he only had about 6 more weeks to live, and he was not going to do home watch at all. I was really taken back because I met this guy. I said, "Oh my God!" So I asked a couple of people that knew him, and they said, "Yeah, he wasn't doing good." And it wasn't but a few weeks after that I got a message from somebody down there saying that he was gone. So I didn't have nobody to recommend anybody anymore. And then Linda, these people here at Home Watch, that was Linda's friend. Linda called up. She said, "Hey, I've got some people that's doing Home Watch down here. If you want to put an advertisement out for them to help them out." I said, "Sure." I said, "Better yet, let's get them on a WNL show. I'm always looking for guests. And that way people can ask them questions if they want to." So that's what we done. That, in turn, led to the chief of police from um, Fruitland Park. If you'll look at the Home Watch video, the guy sitting next to her is the chief of police. Well, I got to talking to him actually before the show, and that's when I found out he was the chief. And I just said, "Hey," I said, "maybe I can get you on the show as a guest as chief sometime. People probably got a lot of questions to ask you about things, crime rates and whatever." He said, "Yeah, I can do that." And that's how that happened. One thing just led to another. It's funny how these things kind of happen. So, but the thing about Home Watch service down there with those people is, she said it right from the very beginning, and I think it's on the show. She doesn't go everywhere. She only has this little area down there that she's willing to go to, and that's it. She doesn't want to be overwhelmed with going clear up to Spanish Springs, clear over to here. And there's no need for that anyway. There's enough of them around in every area to do that. But anyway, nice people, good people, and reliable people, and honest people. That's the big thing. Marcia says, "I love the news. You can take a serious topic and make it interesting and entertaining." Well, I don't know how interesting I can make it. I mean, I try to poke fun at some stuff, but some of these things, I don't know if you guys pick it up or not, but I'm reading it. Some of those things on the news just really get on my last nerve. I mean, I just get so dang tired of even hearing about it. I don't think in a retirement community, and slowly but surely, in case you guys don't know, this place is changing from a retirement community to just a regular town, any old regular town. They haven't announced that yet. I don't think they're going to. But there's a 30-year plan in Wildwood that Wildwood's going to merge in with the villages. I mean, how that's going to work, I don't know. But they're working on it now. I mentioned here a while back when I said, isn't it funny how the bicycle lanes in Wildwood has all been changed? Now their bicycle lanes is the exact same width as our golf cart trails. They're saying they want to make Wildwood accessible to villagers to come down because they've always been a golf cart friendly community. Well, that's a lie. They've never been a golf cart friendly community. They've got this long range plan going on. Karen Stasic says, "Coming up tomorrow for a tour." You coming up to the villages for a tour? Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. You're going to take with them tour buses? Well, if you are, just know, the last I heard was, there's 3 different tours on them tour buses. And I don't know if you sign up for one tour or another, or if it's just the luck of the draw of what tour you're going to be on when you get on the bus. But I talked to a guy that did that. I've been on that tour when I first came down here. Well worth it. Grab a Coke, and sit in the air-conditioned bus, and whoever's up front will gladly talk about all the different things and this and that and take you around and show you stuff. But now there's 3 different tours, and I don't know how that actually works, but something you might want to check into. Stephen Wilburn says, hey Steve, tomorrow you shave. Cindy G, either I'm going to shave right after the WNL show is done, or it'll be tomorrow morning. I'm not sure yet. Depends on how I feel. Usually, here's my regular routine, in case anybody's interested. I check the system a half a dozen times before we go on the show. I've already checked it out this morning, already. I'm constantly messing with my microphone settings, trying to get that sound. And I don't know how to describe it. I'm looking for that particular sound of my voice on TV. And once I get it to where it's where I want it to be, then I won't mess with it. I haven't got it yet because I watch the videos too, but what I'm watching is different things. One is I'm looking at the video quality. Is it clear? Is it clean? And two is the audio. I'm looking for the audio to be clear and clean. And so I'm always messing with the mic, trying to get that certain tone quality that I haven't found yet. The other thing is, this is a new camera I've got set up in there. And this camera, I don't know, I ain't got the settings right, I don't think. I'm still messing with it. Because I've noticed on a couple of news videos that I'll freeze. The audio goes okay, but then I'll freeze for who knows how long. A second, 5 seconds, I'll freeze. And then it takes off again. That's the camera. That's not the YouTuber. That's the camera doing that. And I haven't figured that out yet. There's a lot of settings in this one. And once I get the settings where they need to be, then I'll never touch the camera. This is why I say that's a dedicated camera. And I don't want to take it outside to do video out here with it or any of that stuff because of all these settings. And once I get it set to where everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing and the color corrections are okay and audio's good, that's it. I'm not touching it. And it'll stay right there. I haven't got there yet. So if you see them little freezing points during the news or whatever, if they're there, generally what I'll do is I cut some of them freeze points out. You guys don't see. It's part of the editing process. If I freeze and I'm talking about, say, some drunk driver, sometimes what I do is I cut the freezing points out, and then I can disconnect the audio from the video. Then I can delete the video but keep the audio. And then I can take that picture and put in that blank spot where the video was at. I can stretch it out all the way to the end so that when a picture comes on and you hear me talking, and then it goes back to normal, there's a real good chance that where that picture's at is where it froze up. I just don't want you to see it. And that's what I've been doing. And I get by with it, but sometimes it freezes in a spot where I really can't do that, and so you're going to see it. And so just know that I'm working on it. Mr. Rizzo, have you moved yet? Let me see here. We closing our home in LaBelle North on the 9th. Oh, okay. I know you had bought a place here. Hey, question I've got for you. I know you live down at Key West. Are you planning on moving here part-time or full-time? Because the average person doesn't understand why you want to move from Key West to here. I can see a dozen reasons why, but that's just me. So answer the question on here so people will know. Why are you moving from Key West to the Villages? If it's any of our business, really. Anybody want to volunteer to be a moderator? I always need moderators. I got two coming on here now. Jerry Bell and Marcia are always reliable. Wrestler Mania is usually on here. He's working though. I know he's working on here, and you know, but you never know. This is that time of year we have people are on vacation, and that's what makes going live like here. I've only got 100 people on here. When you think about it, you know, I've got something like 11,000 subscribers, and only 100 people show up. That just tells me that most people aren't interested in a live show. I don't know why. I really don't. I'm kind of disgruntled about that. As much work as we put in that W&L show, and I'm not harping on it. I'm just saying, as much work as we put in on that, and as nerve-wracking as that thing is with me, the closer I get to the show date, I get antsy-pantsy. If I send somebody an email about something and they don't get back with me right away, I'm on the phone calling them because I got to get this stuff done. I want to make sure everything's right. And so, you know, I just the way I am. So, and then when only, you know, a short amount of people, like 125 people show up, it's like, is this worth it for everybody? I mean, people have lives here. Judy's got things to do. Linda's got things to do. And we're doing a show for you guys, and then a handful of people show up. I don't know, man. It's just something to think about. That's all. Tell your friends. Tell your sister. Tell your brother. Tell your dad. Tell your mother. Tell your cousins and your aunts and your uncles. Come to the show. We want them to come to the show. We need them on the show. Hell, who knows? They might win something. Marcia says, is there a bowling alley there? Actually, there's two. They're all up at Spanish Springs. There's none of them down here. And the story about those are years and years and years and years ago, when they opened up that one bowling alley, I don't remember which one they opened first, but they opened one up, and let's say it was a non-smoking bowling alley, which makes sense to me. There was people that was raising hell about it. Or maybe it was a smoking bowling alley that they opened up. And then people were raising hell about all the smoke and all this and that. So instead of just making that one bowling alley non-smoking, now I'm not in on the business side of this. There might have been a really good reason why they done what they did. Literally, they just kind of went on the other side of the parking lot, not too far away, and they built another bowling alley. So one bowling alley started out being the smoking bowling alley. The other bowling alley is the non-smoking bowling alley. And over the years, that's all transitioned now to different things. But that's how it started. And the idea of setting up a bowling fundraiser thing, I ain't got time for all this stuff. Somebody's going to have to do it for me and then let me know what's going on, and then I can put it on the videos and let people know what's going on. But I ain't got time to get in the car and run up there and talk to the manager. Listen, they have a lot of bowling leagues here, and those bowling leagues take priority at every bowling alley. They get them first. So if I say we want to have this on a certain date, and on the calendar it says, no, you can't do that. We got 112 leagues coming in here that day. It's always like that. I mean, it is a real challenge to go up there and to get anything like that done. And the truth is, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get all this stuff done. It's easy to say, we're going to have a golf thing for charity. Yeah? How do you do that? I don't know how to do that. I used to do a few golf things for my guys, and that was pretty easy because I could work with the guys. So, hey, we're going to put up, this hole's going to be a money hole. So the last group of 4, when you go out there on this hole, pick up all the stuff and put it in your golf cart, and then I'll get it back when we go up and have beer after the game. And that's what we did. But when you have a charity thing, I'm just not really, I'm not experienced at that, and I don't know how to do it. But if anybody down here knows how to do it, see that? I hate them. My opinion. That's them atomic cars. I don't like them at all. I just think they're a pain in everybody's ass, but I do understand why people buy them. So I'm not taking that away from them, but I can tell you, you'll never see me in one. Anyway, I was talking about moderators. Yeah, if you'd like to volunteer to be a moderator, let me know. Try to do it during a live broadcast like right now, because I think there's a button I can just push and make you a moderator just like that. When you're not, then I have to go through a whole different thing. But if you'd like to volunteer, and that doesn't mean you got to come to every show at all. It does not mean that. That means if you happen to show up at one of the live shows, you're a moderator. What does moderators do? Well, you can ask Jerry, you can ask Wrestler. They all do basically the same thing. Basically, you greet people as they come on the show. Say, hey, thanks for coming to the show. Appreciate it. You remind people to do things because they constantly forget. To hit that thumbs up button. That means a lot. Make a comment. Subscribe. You'd be surprised when people come to shows and they go, oh, you know, I never knew what that subscribe button was. It's amazing to me. But yeah, you got to remind them of that kind of thing. And if they give you a super chat or a super sticker, you tell them thanks for all that. Just little things like that. If somebody comes on and starts harassing somebody, and you know who I mean, not who, but you know what I mean. Anybody gets on there and says anything stupid, political stupid stuff, like, I can't believe that Biden did what he did. Did you see that? That guy's a real dumbass. You see that? No questions asked. You go on there, you kick him right off the channel. Period. We don't do that. He needs to go to a political channel. This one ain't it. I've always said, you're watching the non-political correct channel, right? Something like that. We don't do that stuff here. I mean, you got your opinions and you're entitled to them, but you need to express those opinions on a political channel, and mine's not it. Also, when it comes to religion, I don't have anything against religion remarks as long as they're done, I'll say, gracefully. But if you come on here like an Ed McGinty and make some of them stupid comments, and you've heard them, right? I've read them on the news. You're out. That's just all there is to it. You're out. And I don't tolerate it. It's a zero tolerance. I just don't. But let me also say this. There he goes again. That's all them guys do, just run around. I've got a lot of people in what I call YouTube jail. I know if you don't create, you don't know what I'm talking about, but I just call it YouTube jail. You're locked away. That means you can still watch the videos. You can still comment on the videos, but you can't, your video comments will not show up, period, because you're in YouTube jail. So nobody sees your comments no matter what it is, good or bad. They just won't see them. If that's happening to you, because there might have been a couple of things that's happened here that I wasn't aware of. If that happens to you, like you're making comments and you're noticing that none of them are coming up, send me an email. Obviously, don't make a comment because I'm not going to see it. Send me an email with your YouTube name on it. Don't tell me your name's Bob and your YouTube name says Gloria, because YouTube names can be different than your real name. And I'll go to YouTube jail and see if you're in there. And if you are, then I'll get back with you and try to figure out what was it you done to go in YouTube jail. And I do believe in second chances on about anybody. Matter of fact, I got an email a couple, 3 weeks ago from somebody. He said, I think I'm in YouTube jail because I never see my comments. I went and looked. He was. And I went back and I said, well, what did you do? And he said, I don't know. So I dug in a little bit further. And I don't want to really get into all of it, but I found out kind of what was going on. And so I tell you what, I'm going to take you out of YouTube jail. Be good, you know. And so I did. I took him out. And that's all. So I can take you out of jail as well as I don't put you in. Most of the people that send YouTube jail, my moderators put them in there. And so I generally leave you in there because I figured they have a reason for putting you in there. And then when I go and ask them, the odds are they're not going to remember your name. I mean, there's so many I've been there now that we just can't remember everybody. But if you're in there and your comments ain't showing up, get in contact with me by my email, and I'll work on it. And if we can take you out, I'll take you out, and we'll start over. We'll put it that way. Grandpa Larry says, can you moderate a drink? That's part of the requirement. You have to drink either beer or wine. Well, maybe a good whiskey. I don't know. I drink beer when I do W&L. I don't care. I mean, I'm retired. I'm enjoying myself as much as I possibly can. And if beer drinking is part of it, that's what I'm going to do. KM says, I'll be watching because of the guests. Good. Because that's why we have the guests on there. We have the guests on there for you guys. And not that I don't have questions once in a while too, and the girls, but it's there for you guys. And you've all heard about this in the state of Florida. It ain't just the villages. It's the state of Florida. About this requirement to replace your roof if it's 10 years old. And I've gotten emails from people here in the villages that's told me, and I believe them, that their insurance company has told them in order for them to renew their insurance policy, you have to put on a new roof or we're not going to renew your insurance policy. And one guy sent me proof showing that he'd been paying something like $700 and some a year, something like that, on his home for insurance on the house. And that same policy, even with a new roof that he's got to put on, they're going to raise it to $1,600 and some a year. That's a hell of a rate hike there. And I don't know really what's going on with all that. I don't know if all insurance companies are doing that, or is that just, and I don't know who his insurance company was, by the way. But then I just said, we're going to get this guy on. I'm going to get a guy on. And here's how this happened. I mean, I get a lot of referrals, and that's how some of this stuff even happens. Is I sent emails out to 2 or 3 different insurance companies. The Village's insurance company was the first one I sent out, because I figure a lot of people here are probably going to do business with the Village's insurance company because it's convenient. You got to know that this me and the developer's got this thing going, this love-hate relationship. I didn't really expect much, um, and that's exactly what I got. I got no response whatsoever. That same email went out to State Farm. I have State Farm insurance, and I sent it to State Farm. Now, did I send it to my State Farm agent? I don't really know. Sue takes care of that. I'm not sure who our agent even is, but I did send one there. I got no response. So I'm talking to Craig Morris one day. No, Craig sent me an email. Apparently, I had said something on a video about looking for an insurance guy to come on and talk about a few things. And he sent me an email saying, hey, if you're still looking for that insurance guest, he said, I've got one that might be interested in coming on. He's the one that sent me this guy, this information. So I sent this guy an email. And apparently he was responding back to me, but I didn't know he was responding back to me because for some reason, of the which I don't know and don't understand, all of his emails to me was going to my spam, and I don't understand that. But it was all gone to my spam, and so I went there and found it, and that's when I responded back to him saying, hey, here's my phone number. For some reason, your email is going to my spam, so here's my phone number. He called me up, and we talked for a while, and I told him what we was wanting to talk about, and so on and so forth. He said he'd be glad to do it. So I told him, I said, well, the first thing I'm going to need from you, and I talked to this guy like 2 months ago. I'm trying to stay ahead of this. I said, I need a headshot that I can put on the thumbnail. So, when people sees that thumbnail about the show coming up, they see who the guest is going to be. And I put his little, I think, Farm Bureau insignia above his head there on that thumbnail. And also it says on there, on the thumbnail, always remember this, people, and tell your friends if they watch this. YouTube, I don't know where the YouTube headquarters is at, but YouTube will tell you one time that this show is going to start. It might say 6 p.m., it might say 4 p.m., I don't know. There's a time change all over the United States. Ignore that. That doesn't mean anything. That's a YouTube thing. They automatically do that. On my thumbnail, bottom left-hand side up there on the top in the black area, it says 7 p.m. Eastern. That's what you go by, is that. Now, if you don't live on the Eastern time zone, you have to make adjustments to yourself. If you live in a mountain time zone, 7 p.m. Eastern time would be what in mountain time zone? 2 hours earlier, maybe, something like that. That's what you got to go by. So, I see a Village's realtor. Just went real slow around the corner, so apparently we have a house for sale around the corner there somewhere. People are cashing out on this high home prices. I thought about it. I won't lie to you. I thought about it. Like I've said before, Sue and I have sold a lot of houses to make a few extra bucks in our lifetime. I have never, ever been able to sell a house and walk away with a profit like I can with this one. But like I told Sue, where do I go? Everything's high. Where do I go? So I'm staying here. I just don't want to look back 5 years from now and go, boy, that was a mistake. I should have sold. I don't know what to do. Nobody does, really. Has anybody volunteered to be a moderator to help Wrestler out? See what Wrestler just did right there? Anybody watching said, hey, please remember to thumbs up. That's what you do. You just put little things like that in there. Welcome people as they come on the show, new. Somebody becomes a new YouTube member. It'll come up in green. You can't miss it. You say, hey, thanks for being, you just, that kind of thing. Somebody gives a $5 super chat or something. You say, hey, thanks for that. That's kind of what a moderator does. Other than that, you keep political and religious, nasty comments. If they're not nasty, we let them go. But if they're nasty comments, they're gone. If some kid gets on here and starts calling people dirty names, they're gone, period. And there was one show, and how this got by, I don't know. There was a wrestler can tell you, I think it was around Christmas time. There was a Russian porn site that came up in the chat. I don't even have no idea how it even got there. And we were all trying to get it off. And for some reason, we couldn't get it off. So what I ended up doing after I let it go by, just ignore it, let it go by. And after the show was over, I went back. I got the name off of that chat of that porn site. I went into YouTube jail and I pasted it in YouTube jail, and then it disappeared. But why we couldn't get rid of it? Them hackers, man. Sometimes they can figure things out. But anyway, we got rid of it, and that's the only time that's ever happened. And if anybody saw that and got offended, I'm sorry, but I have no control over that chat. I mean, as far as people getting on it, once they're on it, if they do something bad, we can kick them off generally. Why we couldn't kick that Russian site off, I don't know, but we got rid of it. Well, Jerry, a pie in the face. Funny you should mention that. I actually thought about that here a while back. You know, I'm going to show you after the WNL show. Those of you, I've got your names, and I think I got all the emails in there. I think I ended up with 9 people that paid the $50. A couple of them paid even more. But I've got 9 people, I think, that paid that $50 to see me shave everything off. And I'm going to do it either right after the WNL show or maybe tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. Because I got a ritual I go through after the show. Russell will tell you. First thing I do is I go through all the chat, and I'm sure there's probably an easier way of doing this, but it's just what I do. I go through all the chat and I read them. So if the show's 2 hours long, I don't take 2 hours to read them all. When I'm, as a creator, I can move up on the chat. And I read them, though, to see what people are saying. Did you like the guest? Did you not like the guest? What was the question that we may have missed? Those kinds of things. And at the same time, I got a pencil and paper. And if I see a super chat for $10, I write it down. Who did it and how much? And then I see another for $5. I'll write down who did it and how much. And I go through all that. And at the end of all that chat, then I add up those super chats. And whatever they are, I take it times 70%. And I generally will round up. So let's say we get $200 super chats. That means I get $140. The odds are I'm going to round that up to 150, and that's what we're going to buy for next month. We're going to buy $150 of something next month. And that's how it works. That's what I do. And generally by then, after doing the show, and I got to clean my room back up because there's a whole setup in the room that you guys don't see. I don't have sound material, I guess you call it, that goes on the walls to keep the sound from echoing off the walls a little bit. So what I do, though, if you guys could see the office, you'd probably just laugh, is, and I have to get the camera in such an angle that you don't see any of this either, is across the one wall where my windows are at to look outside, I got this great big quilt that my grandma made me many, many years ago. I hang it on the wall right there, and it's up there now. On the door that comes into the bedroom, that's what that is, was the third bedroom, is I hang a big long blanket over that door and shut the door. And then there's a closet in that bedroom. I do the same thing there. I put a big blanket over that door. And you guys can't see any of that. And that's really the only soundproofing I got. Technically, there should be soundproofing material on the wall behind me, because that's where really the echoes go. When I'm talking this way, it goes to that wall back behind me, and it reflects off that wall. Who's that? I'm always watching these trucks that come in here with no name on it. You know, Florida law says they got to have a name on that truck. Now you might think, whoops, hold on a minute. Now you might think I'm just a little nibshit here, but I'm not. As a gate guard at one time when we were trained, anytime a truck like that comes through the gate, a manned gate, you got to write stuff down. What company are you? What are you coming in here for? What address are you going to? Blah, blah, blah. Then the dispatch, when I call up there, they get a hold of Community Watch. This is some of the things that Community Watch does that you guys don't know about. I mean, you might think all they do is just drive around, which they do that too. they'll send a community watch guy out and send him to that address for two reasons. One is to make sure that he didn't drive. This goes for the semi trucks, really. Make sure he didn't cut a corner too sharp and the semi trailer didn't drive through somebody's yard, which could cause damage to the water sprinkler pipes under the lawn. Two is they're going to go to that house and they're going to make sure that this guy's going to that house doing what he said he's going to do. Generally speaking, they're going to deliver furniture. A lot of times, though, they tell you they're here to pick up furniture. They're taking all the furniture out of this house because that person bought a brand new house, say down at the Finney area, and that's legit. They do that all the time. But this has happened a time or two, and these are the things I like to report on to let you know this is a retirement community, but you can't be stupid. They caught two people that came in a truck kind of like that, no name. We're here to pick up furniture for so-and-so. Well, they sent Community Watch down here and checking. And of course, they get the address of the house. They got everybody's name and everything on every house here on a computer. They checked the computer to find out the name that this guy gave them was not the name of the owner of the house. They call the owner of the house to find out, did you rent the house out or something to somebody or whatever? Nope. Are you moving to another house? Nope. Well, there's a furniture moving company here. So they end up calling the sheriff, and because the Community Watch don't have authority on any of that, they call the sheriff. Sheriff comes immediately. Community Watch and the Sumter County Sheriff's Department works hand in hand on a lot of stuff. They caught the guy. He was just in here scamming. He was going to take all the furniture and stuff out of this guy's house, and he's going to leave with it. So that's why when I see trucks like this, I'm always watching. I'm watching after my neighbors. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm watching after our community. Here's how I feel about it. You shouldn't be in here to start with, but you damn sure ain't going to get by with that stuff in my neighborhood because I'm going to see you. Cindy G says, pick me. WrestleMania says, pick me. Wrestler must be on lunch. Yeah, I'm going to probably send you an email, Wrestler, real quick before you take off. Or maybe a text, either or, you keep an eye out for it, of a couple of things. I'll be sending you an invite at 6:30, so I can talk to you for about a little bit before the show, but I'm also sending you an email. There's an idea, a couple ideas I've got, and I'm bouncing them off of you if we can do it. If we can't, okay, but just watch your email. Well, truth, I wasn't going to do Porch Settin today because I knew I got W&L tonight, and I just figured people's going to get sick and tired of seeing me. And I do notice on view times, that's what happens. You put out too many videos during the week, the view times go down. They done seen you yesterday. They don't want to see you today. I have watched that. And a friend I got that's got like over 1 million subscribers, he told me he found out that the less videos he put out, the more people wanted to watch him because he just didn't do it that often. And he said, I've got down to where I put out a video now once a week. That's all I do. He said, but I get more views on that once a week, he said, than what I did when I did 3 times a week combined. So things like that's what's on my mind. Anybody volunteered to be a moderator? I'm still looking. I'm looking. I see a question and I got to answer that, and then I don't see none yet. Yeah, Bonnie says, I agree. I like having beer with my friends. Me too. I do sports sitting, people come here, we'll just sit out here and have a beer and watch the neighbors walk up and down the road or whatever. Uh-oh. There's Sue. I haven't driven that car 10 miles. The last time I got in the car, I couldn't even figure out how to find my radio channel on a radio. I mean, that's how little I know about this car. Edwina says maybe people are working and have other commitments during the time of your show. Well, that's true. There's a certain percentage that do. I said that. But when you have 11,000 subscribers and only 100 show up, there's no way you're going to convince me that 10,900 other people have commitments and are working. There's always a percentage that are, but not that many. I have had a couple of people comment, honestly, and I appreciate the honest comments. A lot of people don't, but I do, saying that they don't like live shows because, how'd that one guy put it? He said, I don't really watch live shows, not just mine, any of them. He said, because I'm confused about the content. I think he's talking about the chat. He doesn't know how that works. Well, you know, chats aren't that hard, but if you don't understand a chat, just jump in there, man. Just type something in there and hit the enter button, and oh, well, actually, it's not an enter button. What is it? Like a little blue arrow there to the right. You hit that, and you'll see your chat come up. I mean, you got to learn. You got to jump in. You got to play. You got to try, and then you'll see how it works. Some of them don't understand how the super chats work. I've tried to explain it to them the best I can, and I'm more than glad to explain it because it's money that goes into the channel for the next month's prices. And I've said it before, I would love to give away $500 to $1,000 prizes. And I mean that sincerely. I would love to do that. Because the more we give away, the more people's going to want to come to the show because we're giving away prizes that's got a little bit of heftiness to it. You know what I mean? And the only way we're going to do that is to get people to come to the show. So at the bottom, I think it's the bottom left-hand side of the chat, when you'll see it all the way down to the bottom and look on the left, there's a little square button that's got a dollar sign on it. That's it. You hit that. And I think after that, it's just a matter of, typing in how much you want to give, or maybe give you an option, 1, 5, 10, 15, something like that. That's it. And then you can type a little message in there too. And I've always said, if you really got a question that you want us to answer, and you don't want to take a chance of us not seeing your question, that's possible. If there's a lot of questions, sometimes the chat will go by pretty quick and we miss it. We try not to, but we might. Is give us a $5 super chat. I'm not sure what the cheapest amount you can put in. Can you put in $1, $2? You guys know more about it really than I do. I just set it up. It might be $1. Anyway, and then type your question in. Your question then was going to come up a whole different color than everybody else's. And it's going to say $1 super chat from, Billy B or whatever your YouTube name is, and then the question will be right there, and we cannot miss that. And I can almost guarantee you that if you do it that way, we're going to get your question. What's the question there, Jerry? Something about Hillsboro, near Brownwood. Yeah, we're not too far from Brownwood. Whoever's talking to Jerry, I go down in a golf cart all the time. The golf cart from my house, door to door, as they say, I can be downtown Brownwood 8 or 10 minutes. It's not very far. I'm just far enough away. When I bought our house, here are some of the things you got to take in consideration when you buy a house. And it isn't necessarily what village. They're all good. There goes the real estate lady right there. Denny Wood. These real estate people must do good. They all drive high-dollar cars. She's driving a Porsche SUV. If it ain't a Porsche, it's always a Mercedes or something. I think I've sold more houses than them, and they don't pay me nothing. So anyway, what was I talking about? I forget. Oh, what to buy? We were lucky enough that we had our first home, so we learned a little bit by being there. We weren't but a hop, skip, and a jump from Coconut Cove Recreation Center in the village of Caroline. So whenever I'd sit out in Lanai, every morning I'd sit out there and I'd look at the paper and I'd watch people walk their dog. And I enjoyed the Lanai there. They were on the front of the house. The Lanais here are on the back of the house. I kind of enjoyed the one on the front of the house. But anyway, I could hear this noise all day long. I mean, it started almost when the sun started coming up. And I wasn't sure what it was. And after a while, I mean, that's all I could hear. It was so quiet in our neighborhood that this noise to me just kept getting louder and louder. And I go, what the heck is that? And a week goes by, and I'm still hearing it every day. Well, come to find out, it's this thing called pickleball. And it makes, with the paddles and the ball, it just makes this noise. And to me, it was almost, it's not an obnoxious noise, but if you don't hear nothing all day long, and that's all you hear, it seems like that noise just gets more annoying. It's just there. So I knew when I moved here, I wanted to be far enough away from the pickleball courts that I didn't hear that. I also knew by living there, we had an electric golf cart there when we first moved in, and we go down Sumter Landing Square all the time. Go down and have lunch. Now keep in mind, I didn't live there full time yet. I was still on vacation mode. So we go down there and have ice cream and lunch and dinner and breakfast. I mean, and we go down to the square literally every night and sit there and watch people dance and listen to the music and just think, man, this would be a great place to live. You know, just really would. So I had this advantage of knowing some things. So when I moved here was the thing that, that I told the realtor. I said, this area, because I didn't know where nothing was at. They were still building here. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we had a post office yet. I think they were still building all that. And I said, I want to be within walking distance of the adult pool and the postal station, because Sue would walk to the post office there every day. She liked it. And I wanted to be just far enough away from the pickleball courts, wherever they're going to be, because we didn't know they were still building here. And I'd like to be within a 10-minute golf cart ride to a square. I didn't care which one. I mean, I was open to buying a pre-owned home too. I didn't care. So that's how we discovered here. Our Manatee Rec Center is a stone's throw away. I could walk to it if I want to, but yet I'm far enough away with homes and things around me. I don't hear the pickleball there at all. The postal station and the adult swimming pool we can walk there. It's not that far away. And in my golf cart, I can be 10 minutes down to downtown Brownwood. And the other thing was I wanted to get back into golf. I said, I'd like to be somewhere close to, at that time I said, at least one country club and maybe 3 or 4 executive golf courses if I can do that. Here, where I'm at, within, I'll say, a 15-minute golf cart ride, most of them are less than that. Some of them are only 5 minutes away. There's 11 different executive golf courses I can be to within a 15-minute golf cart ride. I'm in the middle of a bunch of them. And I'm in two country clubs are 5 minutes or less away. And there's a third country club, Belglade. I'm going to say, if you know how to go, and I do, 10 minutes away, maybe 12, somewhere in that area. So within 12 minutes, I got 3 country clubs around me. So man, this place just fit our bill all the way around. And since then, they've built shopping centers around me that they didn't have on the plans at that time. One was Colony Shopping Plaza, wasn't there, it is now. Pinella Shopping Center around the corner here is there, it wasn't then. And there was another one they built, I forget which one. Oh, over here by Lake Deaton, what do they call it? Maybe it's Lake Deaton Shopping Center. It's the Chitty Chatty Bridge. When you come across Chitty Chatty Bridge, there's a shopping center there. They have that one, and it wasn't there then. So actually, I think for us, this whole area, not just Hillsborough, you got Lake Deaton, you got Dunedin, this whole area right here to me is desirable, but for a lot of different reasons. You have to come up with your reasons as to what you want to buy and where you want it to be at. Oh, we got a new member. Who is that? See how it comes up in green right there? You got a question on the show, become a new member, give us a $2 super chat, and that's how it comes up compared to everybody else. See how it is? We're not going to miss that question. You know, I can't hardly see the name on this thing. Is it Zaretha? To Aretha? Is that what it is? To Aretha? It looks like a Z kind of, but I'm going to say to Aretha. Welcome to the YouTube members page. Appreciate it. Now you got access to some stuff as a YouTube member that nobody else does. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube members, the videos that are commercial free, and there's some things on there that YouTube doesn't get at all that you guys has got. So go down there and see some of that stuff, and you'll see the difference there. Second thing is you got access to some buttons, like you've seen them a while ago. Hit the pick me button, red and white, and stuff like that. Only YouTube members have access to that. So my name is Charlotte. Oh, okay. Well, see the difference? This is what I was saying a while ago. If you think you're in YouTube jail and you're not sure, give me your YouTube name. Because see, her name is Charlotte, but her YouTube name is To Oretha. And that's what I would need to look for in YouTube jail is your YouTube name, not your real name. Jerry says, welcome to the jungle. I'm backing up to see if I missed anything. Vic says he just finished up doing a work meeting. Grandpa Eric says that Porch Settin is great when it's live. I think the live is good. It's got a lot of advantages, not only for you guys, but also for me. One big advantage for me is there's no editing involved. I don't have to do anything other than end it. It automatically comes up as a replay, and I'm done. The only thing I will do is go inside, and I'll change the settings to monetize. Right now, it's all commercial free. You haven't seen a commercial. That's my gift to you for coming to the show. It's commercial free. But when I go in there, I'm going to change it so anybody who wants to watch the replay is going to get commercials. Vic says, yeah, skip 4-hour porch setting was too much for me. I understand. But you know what's funny about that, Vic, is you gotta remember, you gotta see it from my end here. That's the longest one I've ever done. I generally don't ever do that. But people kept asking questions. They keep asking questions, and I just keep answering. That's all I'm doing is I'm just answering questions the best that I can. When you see the analytics on that show, here's how that works. When that show ended, there was over 950 people that came to the live show, but they all don't come at once. You'll get 50, and then it'll gradually maybe go up to 100, and then it'll go back down to 80, and then it goes back up to 110, and then it goes back down to 100, then it goes up to 150, then it goes back down to, you get what I'm saying. That's people coming and going. New people come in, old people go out. And so they're constantly flowing in and flowing out. Now, if I monetize that, see, I would get credit for all of that, which means YouTube would recommend my videos to more people, which could bring in more subscribers. By monetizing that many people in the live show means I would get more money. It's not a tremendous amount, but I would get more money. Right now, I'm getting nothing. I get nothing here except whatever super chats are. That's it. I get nothing. And that's fine with me because I don't do this for super chats. But on a WNL show, those of you to come, please, if you can, dig deep, $1. I don't care. Those super chats go for the gift next month. If we don't get them super chats during the show, I don't know what we would do. Seriously, I don't know. But we'd have to figure something out. Cam said, love to see on air. So yeah, I talked about that. I actually thought about that. I'm always adding something to the show if I can. And, boy, she got a big SUV. This is just a little girl that lives across the street. And she bought this great big honking Infiniti SUV, Q something. I always think that looks weird when you see this little 90-pound soaking wet girl driving this huge vehicle. But anyway. Yeah, on air button. And so I went to Amazon and I was looking to see if they had any on air. I think about putting it back there behind me on the wall. You know, the only time a Dicky Birds are working is during the live show of WNL. That's the only time I'm going to do that. And I also thought about maybe I should get an on-air button back there, an on-air sign of some kind, and during the live show it'll be on. And then I thought about at the end of the show, you're generally waving at you bye and all that. I'm going to shut that light off, and then that would kind of end the show out. But I think it's got to be a remote control. Otherwise, I got to get up and walk all the way back there, take the headphones off, and turn it off. Where if it was remote control, I could just turn around and turn it off. So I'm still thinking about that. I'm still looking. I haven't looked that hard yet, truthfully, but I'm really kind of leaning to do that if I can find what I would consider to be the right setup. Well, I don't know what the secret is. I know there's a lot of tricks you can pull, and I don't do that. I mean, a lot of tricks. I just don't do that, and that does slow things down a little bit. And I don't. Let's put it this way: I don't suck ass either. People, sometimes people will say things, and they don't give their true feelings about it. They just don't because they're afraid it's going to hurt their subscriber base and all this and that. I never worried about that. I'm not interested in having more subscribers than everybody else. I'm just interested in my fair share, but I'm not interested because really a lot of subscribers are only good for one thing, really one thing only. If you get a million subscribers, then now you're going to get people out there that's willing to pay you to put advertisement on your channel. I'm not sure I really want all that. For the simple reason is YouTube puts enough stuff on there. I get frustrated too. I got my favorite channels that I like to watch, and when you watch them, golly, seems like every 5 minutes there's another commercial coming up and another commercial. I mean, it's just getting to the point it's ridiculous. I mean, at one time YouTube didn't do that, but now they are. So, it does get frustrating. So I'm trying to stay away from that. That's why I give you this stuff commercial free. And Patreon, those guys are taking care of me. So I give everything to them commercial free. YouTube members, I don't give them a lot of stuff like I give on Patreon because let's face it, they only give me, I get 70 cents a month for each YouTube member. It's 99 cents, I think, is the cheapest you can do. I get 70% of that, so you can do the math. It's like 70 cents. So for 70 cents, I give them more than their money's worth, but I don't give them everything Patreon members get. Let's face it. I got some Patreon members that's giving me $25 a month. You're not going to get as much as they get. So it's a money game. It's frustrating that you can put in. So listen, I got a couple of guys that I watch on the RV channel, and they do what I consider the worst videos I've ever seen. They're just terrible. The audio is awful, and yet I look down at the bottom and they've got 50,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to figure that out. What am I missing here? It's just, I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, is YouTube not recommending my videos to enough people? Because I've been doing this longer here than anybody. And yet, I'm not the #1 subscriber base here. And it's perplexing to me. The only thing I could really come up with is I know I got an abrasive type way of doing things sometimes, the way I answer questions, but it's just the way I am. I believe in just cutting to the chase. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to play political games, and I'm not going to answer a question a certain way just to satisfy one person. And I get these all the time, and I think that's where I lax, is that I'm not going to play that game. People all the time will send me an email saying, I don't like your videos with music on it. My answer to that is, then you're going to have to quit watching, because I'm not guaranteeing I'm never going to do a video without music on it ever again just to satisfy you. You are not the masses. I'm trying to satisfy the masses. And so I don't do every one of them that way, but I do sprinkle them in there here and there. And personally, I think it makes the videos a little bit better to watch. And so, and that's what I think hurts me more than anything is I give direct answers to a direct question, and some people here don't do that. They say, "Okay, well, I'll tell you, we'll reconsider our music from now on, and possibly we just might just do away with that if it really bothers everybody." That's not me. Zaretha said, "I shared your video." Hey, share them all. There's a share button below every video. Share them all. Send them out to your grandma, grandpa, kids, everybody. Send them across the country. I had one guy call me and ask me if he could put some of my videos on his channel. I said, have at it. The more people to see it, the more I got a chance of people coming in and subscribing. And more importantly, it's really not the subscribers. It's the watch time. That's how we get paid. The more people that watches a video, the more money you make on that video if it's monetized. That's the secret. I got somebody that's got like 2,000 subscribers that I personally know. I'm not going to mention their names. He did, but anyway, 2,000 subscribers. This is what he's got. I've got 11,000 subscribers. Now I know what I make, and I don't go after the top dollar stuff either. This is all non-monetized here. I don't get anything. This guy, the way he does his videos and stuff, with 2,000 subscribers, makes 4 times more money every month than I do. So it ain't the subscribers where the money's at. It's the watch time. He does it in such a way that there's a hell of a lot of people that watches his videos, but like us, he says something like 80% of the people that watches his videos are not subscribed to his channel. And even though they deny it, there's no denying it. It's a fact. It's on the analytics. And I watch that a lot. Now, I have lowered mine quite a bit to where at one time it was like 64% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. It's down now to something like 52 or 53% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So half the people that's watching my videos are not subscribed, and probably less than 50% of my subscribers are even watching the videos anymore. I think they subscribed and forgot. That's what I think. But it's also, I have noticed this phenomenon too, that your subscriber count will go up around October because people are going to come down for the winter. So all of a sudden they start watching the videos and subscribing. And then also, once your subscribers buys the house here and they get moved in and they get kind of immersed in the activities here, they quit watching your videos because they're here now. And I understand that. They're here now. So they don't watch them anymore. Not all of them do, but a good chunk of them, 80, 90% of them do that. You just don't hear from them anymore. They got what they needed. They bought their house and now they're gone. Well, Marcy says maybe the answer is that they take you to attractions and things to do outside the villages. And that's true, and I could do that too, but that's the way I look at it. My channel here is about the villages and things that goes on in the villages and kind of around the villages, and that could affect village life here. And the idea of going to Disney World, I'm not doing that. There's 1,000 people that go down there every single day and does videos in the village of Disney World. That's not me. There's things around here to do. I mean, I've done video of Eaton Beach, so it ain't like I've never done things outside the villages. It's just people don't watch. I get people all the time. This happened here 2 days ago from a long-time subscriber, and I'm not going to mention any name, but I'm just kind of telling you how these things happen. They say they see all my videos, they watch all my videos, and then they send me questions, a list of questions. And I'm not going to say the questions because then that person will know I'm talking about them and I don't want to piss them off. But they send you a list of questions about things. And I'm looking at that going, I just done a video 2 days ago and all these questions that they're asking me is in that video. So are you watching all my videos? That's the frustrating part right there. So it doesn't do any good. I mean, I could go all over everywhere and do all these videos everywhere, and I'm getting a lot of this. I'm gonna get a lot of emails saying, what does any of this have to do with the villages? I watch your channel because of the villages. How much the house prices? How much does it cost to do this or that? That's what I watch your channel for. If I wanted to watch a Disney channel, I'd go to a Disney channel, you know? So you can't win. I'm telling you, you just can't win. So I've narrowed my channel in here on the village channel. The villages, in the villages, around the villages, and what's happening here. The good, bad, and the ugly. There's just a couple of things I stay away from. You noticed even on the news, I never talk about politics stuff. And trust me, the more northern people that come down here, the more political upheaval we're having here. I just don't talk about it. Oh, we did? Okay. See, now Jerry's alerting me. That's what a moderator does. See that little orange thing there? Jerry's alerting me that Russo wants to be a moderator. So let me find him here. See if I can do that here. Uh-oh. I may have to wait. Gosh darn it, come on. I hate this phone stuff. It just ain't the same. I'm looking for you. Well, I can't do it here. Here's the options I got on you, Rizzo. I can go to your channel, I can pin a message, I can report, I can remove, I can put you in timeout, or I can hide user from channel. Damn it. See, YouTube makes changes all the time. They just do, and they don't tell me. So now I'm going to have to go in there on the main computer, and I'll put you in as a moderator. So tonight on WNL, you should have a wrench next to your name, and you should be in the color of blue. I don't know, man. I thought I could do that. Well, I used to be able to at one time. I don't know if I can do it now or not. Apparently not. Here we go. Wait a minute. Mr. Rizzo, make a comment. You should be a moderator now. There you are. See that? See that, buddy? See that wrench? You have the power. Carol Madigan says, hi from Long Island. How's everything up in Long Island? You guys as hot up there as they are everywhere else? I'm starting to get sticky. So I'm going to end this here in about 2 minutes and go inside. Right before the show, I'm telling you, I'm a nervous wreck. I know of all the accidents we've had in the past. Really, when you really stop and think about it, I take a lot of harassments about the accidents in the past. But really, if you think about it, forget the first 5 or 6 shows. We were all brand new. Nobody knew what we were doing. I didn't know what I was doing. And not that I'm any expert today, but we're better today than we was. There really hasn't been that many significant glitches on the channel. The one that sticks out to me is the one where for some reason there was 2 of me on the live channel on WNL, and I couldn't get the other one off. I don't know where it come from, and I tried everything. So I ended up ending the show, coming back up and finishing it, and I was hoping YouTube would stitch it together for me, but they didn't. So if you go to the WNL folder file and go down to show, what is it, show number 20 something, 4 or 5, somewhere in that area, that you'll see that where there's 2 shows with the same number on it. That's the show that I couldn't figure it out. But really, other than that, other than buffering we get once in a while, that's nothing I can do. If Linda's on the top of a mountain in California and she buffers out there, I can't do anything about it. That ain't me. And a lot of people, even you, that you're watching it, if it buffers, if you don't see me talking about it buffering, because I'm watching it up here on a monitor, the buffering issue is probably you. Your Wi-Fi is a little glitchy there. Can I say that for 100% sure? No. I am not an expert about this Wi-Fi stuff at all. I just pay high dollar for high-speed Wi-Fi to guarantee that my issues are going to be minimal. That doesn't mean I never will have them, but I make sure that they're minimal, and I do my best at that. But really, all in all, our shows went fairly well smooth. I'm watching all these lizards today running around here, and I swear half of them have lost their tail. And in case you don't know, the geckos here, I call them lizards, but the geckos here, they can drop their tail. And they do that. If the bird comes after them to eat them, they can drop that tail. And the tail will just lay there and it wiggles while the lizard takes off. And the bird will eat the tail thinking it's a worm or something, and the lizard gets away. And there must have been a bird here the other day. There's another one. Got no tail. There must have been a bird here or something the other day harassing everybody. She travels a lot. Every time she comes home, that's the first thing she does is run down to the mailbox and pick up a box full of mail. We do the same thing when we're gone. When we went to Rockport for a month and came home, Jesus, the lady down there saved our mail in like this big basket thing, and Sue brought it home. I bet it took her 3 days to go through all of our mail. And you know what? 90% of that is crap, just junk mail. What a waste. Just fills up the dumps. Grandpa Egg says, Skip, when you drove for work back in the days, where did you drive mostly? I assume you mean in the semi truck. Well, I drove for 38 years, so other than the far northeastern part of this country, Maine, Vermont, that area up there, I've never been up there. I've been to every state there is in the United States as an owner-operator, and I had a small trucking company of my own for 10 years. And Ronald Reagan's trickle-down theory, if you all remember that was the reason why that business got closed. And we were done. And I just didn't want, by the time I got into my 40s, I always intended to either start another, there's another lizard with no tail. I always figured on starting another trucking company or buy a small company. But in my 40s, I really got to thinking seriously about retirement. And when you own your own company, I mean, the retirement is whatever you get. Now, and truthfully, the way I had it planned in my head was my two boys was going to be running this company. And I was going to be like a board of directors of that company. We have a meeting about every quarter, which is required in corporations to do that. And I'm going to draw a salary every month. And that would be my retirement. And plus, whatever Social Security I could get. Well, that didn't work out. And I was scared really at the age of 40 or so to buying another company. And then I kept thinking about the what ifs. What if it don't work? And what if by the age of 52, I go bankrupt or something? Then what? And so I was just kind of nervous about it. And so that's when I decided I'm going to go to work for a major company. I'm not going to go to work for anybody unless it's a major company that has pensions. And I don't mean 401k. That's not a pension. These younger kids today, I try to let them know about some things. I don't think they hear it. I think it's a generational thing. I think that they're convinced this is what it is. And it's not. It's never been a retirement policy. 401ks is before tax savings. That's all that is. It is not retirement. What you're going to end up depending on, unless you got $1 million in a 401k, which you're probably not going to have. I know these numbers go all over the place when you talk to people. They'll tell you how much you're going to have $10 million, but no, you're not. It's your Social Security is going to be a lifelong income. And I tell them, you got to be really observant. Now, I don't want to talk politics now, but you got to be observant who you're voting for and listen to what they're saying and go by their past history. Because Social Security came to us one time by Franklin. He's the one that started it, and he just started it. It can be taken away just as fast. Now, there's going to be repercussions if they do that, but I think that's what the idea of 401k was, trying to educate the younger people. You need to start saving up for your own retirement. I am not a fan of that because the average person is not good savers. The average person is not good with budgeting money. And the average person is not good about saving things for the future. We're just not. Our history shows we're not. That's not saying every. There's another one with no tail. I don't know where they all come from. But anyway, um, Social Security is something that you have to pay. The company has to match it, and it's something you can depend on. So just watch it, man. Just watch it. Don't lose that. If you lose that, you could lose everything. Just don't do that. And that's my only advice. So I decided I'm going to work for a company, which ended up being Overnight Transportation. Great company. Great company. Probably one of the best companies I ever worked for. Great benefits. Their benefits was better than UPS by far. Their pension plan, the way it was done, was better than UPS by far. I would have stayed there. Now they had some things that weren't that good. I mean, things you had to deal with. But compared to UPS when it comes to retirement and all that kind of stuff, I would have kept that. But I don't have that say so. Leo, what was his name? Leo something. He was the CEO of Overnight. He actually came from Yellow Freight. He was CEO there. Leo, God, I can't remember his last name. He came to every terminal and would actually handshake all the drivers. We saw him. We met the guy. We met the CEO there. That's how this company was run. Anyway, he came around to every terminal, and we had meetings with him, required meetings. And he told us that they were going to sell Overnight to UPS, and he was explaining how he thought Leo Scruggs, Suggs, S-U-G-G-S, Leo Suggs, that was the CEO. And he said that he thought it was going to be a good move. UPS had these pensions in place and insurance in place. They were a solid company, blah, blah, blah. It all sounded good on paper. And so it was done. He sold it to UPS. UPS made us like a subdivision of UPS, a company. There's a UPS small package. That's who delivers your packages to your house. And they have their own inter-circle dealings inside that. They have what they call, what were they called? They have funny names for what their drivers are called. Anyway, they're road drivers. We call road drivers. They called them something else, where they would take 2 trailers at night to different terminals, dropping them off. The dock people would separate all them packages, and then the city guys would come in, get in their trucks. Those trucks are already loaded, and then they would go out and run their route and deliver the freight. Overnight wasn't quite like that. We were a less than a truckload company. We hauled freight, not necessarily small package. So the way it was working there, they tried to take all of our small package stuff, which wasn't a lot, and they would put it on a trailer, and then they'd take it up to UPS small package, let them deliver that. That's fine with us. We didn't care. But then they come in and they were trying to take our road jobs, and they were trying to change things like small package, and it just didn't work. We kept trying to tell them, this isn't going to work here. But you can't tell UPS nothing because they know it all. And I even made a statement at one of the meetings, which really pissed one of the UPS guys off. I don't really care. You know me, I speak up. I said, the best thing for you to do is just go home and let the overnight people take care of this, because we know how to do this. You don't, and you're making it worse. Oh, that opened up a can of worms. So after being called into the manager's office and everything and reprimanded for what I said, I shouldn't have said, but, everything went on as usual. And that's the reason why I retired from UPS Freight. We were not UPS. We were UPS Freight. There's another side of UPS Freight. It's called UPS Air Freight. They go from airport to airport when they fly the stuff around. And, it didn't work out. And so once again, they wouldn't listen to us. So UPS sold UPS Freight to a Canadian company that owns it now. And I don't know how it's working out. I haven't talked to the guys there. But you know what's going to happen there. There's a rule about coming across the line and hauling freight to America, for example, from Canada. They could go like within a 600-mile radius of their delivery point, and then they have to pick up freight and go straight back to Canada. Well, now that they own overnight transportation / UPS freight, which has a terminal in every major city across the United States. You can see what's going to happen. They're going to go from this terminal to that one, to that one, to that one, to that one. They're going to be in the United States running everywhere because this is where the money's at. And that's a fact. And I'm not a fan of that at all. Questions to those guys, though, are what's going to happen to your pension? Any United States employees that was UPS freight and overnight, what's going to happen to your pension? It's going to stay the same? Is Canada going to, I don't know, somehow change it some way? I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a fight between them and the union, and that's why you need a union, is to keep companies like that from screwing you out of something you've worked a lifetime for. All right, I'm done. I always say I'm done, and then I rattle on. I got to get out of here. I got to go in there and make sure my system's good, make sure I'm just a nervous wreck before the show. Once the show gets started, I'm generally okay, but I just got to make sure everything's in place. I still worry about stuff. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for supporting the channels, those of you that do. Come to the W&L show. Please remember those super chats and super stickers. It's something we have to have. I can't make you do anything, of course, but it's really appreciated more than you guys will ever know. And we do have certain people that they are always there. They're always making them super chats and super stickers, and they know that we really appreciate it. So with that being said, I hope I see all of you tonight on the W&L show. And when you get on there, hey, get on that chat, man. Start chatting away. Even before the show starts, even during the 5-minute intro, you know, the chat's going. You guys can chat with one another, and there's another one with no tail. And I know these are different ones because they're different sizes and different colors. How many have I seen out here with no tail? 6, 7, 8? There's a bird out here somewhere, man. It must have been harassing my lizards. Oh, by the way, we had that guy back to trim everything. I didn't do video. Let me see if you can see it. Let's see here. All these bushes and the trees. These limbs here was hanging way down. He trimmed all that up. He trimmed all this up. He trimmed that palm tree up over there. He trimmed every bush around the house. Turn it around, turn around. And he trimmed it on the side of the house. He trimmed everything in the backyard. If there's a bush or a tree in my yard, he did it all this time. And the total cost with this guy, he came here on a Wednesday. He told us how much it would be. The same guy. Because sometimes I don't have everything trimmed. I just have a couple of things trimmed. So he just shoots you a price. And this time Sue told him, I did. She told him I want trees and everything trimmed. Because I think I'm just getting too old to do some of this stuff. But, you know, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. It is hot, though. I don't feel like doing it. So everything in the yard and the backyard and the side yard, and they clean it up, and they haul it away, I think it was $190. So those of you that's thinking about coming down and having that done, that might give you a general idea of what it costs. It all depends on how much stuff you have and all that kind of thing. So that being said, thanks for showing up. See you tonight. I'm going to get out of here and go have a beer maybe and sit back and relax and try to calm down. Thanks for coming, everybody. See ya.